there, lovely people. My name is Emma Lucille. I'm fucking cracked on caffeine again. So, look at my WandaVision shirt. Will I ever recover from this? No, is the short answer. No. I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind a lot recently, and perhaps present a little bit of a hot take. A little smaller than that. I am, of course, today going to be talking about our best friend, TikTok. Yay! Everybody say hello, TikTok! TikTok, say hello, everybody!
Hello, you pathetic cash cows.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the unique phenomenon of TikTok and how it has affected mental health. And I don't mean specifically on its users and how much consuming all that media from that app can actually influence our brain function. Cause that's a whole nother, I just more mean to say the concept of mental health. So now it's cool to be ill, ? The rise in the number of TikToks that pertain to mental health is absolutely bonkers. It's mental, and don't get me wrong, normalizing discussions of mental illness is something that I think is really important. So it can be a good thing, especially given that up until a few years ago, I feel like there was a huge stigma about even talking about mental illness or normalizing discussions of it on social media. So, little hot take. But I would say that overall the impact of TikTok for discussions of mental health has probably been more beneficial than detrimental. For the most part, when I see content that's about mental health, it's like satirical takes, or it's content that's about mental wellness and improving mental health. But we're not here to talk about those kinds of TikToks. Today we will be talking about what I think are 3 dangerous categories of mental illness TikTok. The first is people who are faking, because some people unfortunately feel like they can profit off of making a mental illness their entire personality. This happens so much so, in fact, that there's an entire Reddit thread just committed to calling out these people. And zooey mamas, some of these yikers. Not to mention there's a YouTube thread of over 75 videos of just people faking mental illnesses on TikTok.
Hard to breathe, words come over me, feels like I'm somebody else. I get over.
These videos are one thing. These videos are the ones that just straight up craft a whole new character around a lie.
Hi, my name is JD. I'm the host of the system. Hey, I'm Kenny. I'm one of the main protectors. The name is kind of self-explanatory.
Hi, my name is Junko, and I'm a persecutor in the system.
Hi, I'm Tweak. My role is an anxiety holder.
I'm Damien. I'm a demon. It's actually pretty common for systems to have alters that are of a supernatural species. I'm Aya, and my role is an avenger. Not like the superhero kind, but just avenger. Sup, I'm Eric. I'm a trauma holder. What a fun role. Yo, I'm Christopher. I'm one of the gatekeepers in the system.
Just really do it to him.
Have you ever thought about maybe not doing it to him?
It is problematic, but I've given it a separate category from category 2. These are the people who, whether they're faking or not, they still manage to capitalize and sensationalize off the concept of being mentally ill, only they do it more subtly and normally than the former. Sorry if that was a mouthful, This is a TikTok thing for sure. But I feel that it's still important to note that shit like this is still carrying on to other platforms. For example, we can take a look at this. Another countdown. Get that diagnosis, Bella. I'm sorry. It's kind of funny. Bella, get that diagnosis, Loca. And it's most oftentimes not talked about in a positive or healthy kind of way.
So I sit here in the sun, I felt peace in your eyes.
So you ultimately have to ask, what was the creator's goal in posting this? Now don't get me wrong, mental illness isn't a fucking pool party, but it's also a part of life. For 1 in 4 non-faking humans, mental illness is a reality. Now I'm not saying don't talk about it, you definitely should, but at the point where you make it your brand,
I don't want to take antidepressants. What if I lose my sparkle, huh?
have to be a little bit concerned. There's a word. I'm an English major. For most people, having mental illness means getting diagnosed and getting the help you need. And getting that help should be as simple and as normalized as going to the gym. Like a little workout, but for your brain. Hello from Coffee Gremlin 9 a.m. webcam Emma. I just wanted to hop in real quick and add this. At any point where I'm discussing seeking professional help and education and resources to mental health, know that I am talking best case scenario. I am privileged enough to be a cis white woman who can afford professional help, but I completely understand that that is not an option for everyone, especially in America. I think our access to mental health education and help is something that is severely lacking and also not affordable for a lot of people. While I do think we could be handling things on TikTok better, this is not to say that I'm throwing this out as a blanket solution in any way, because I completely understand that is not attainable for a lot of people. So hopefully that clears up any confusion. Now sometimes it's more lighthearted, like lumping all of your behaviors as a cause of your mental illness. This relatable human experience that happened, it must be because of this one illness I have.
Hi, I've been made aware of doom boxes, which is apparently a thing where ADHD people make boxes or bags of things that they just don't really have a place for.
This subcategory is literally what I would call the haha, I do that category.
I do that.
But what's a lot worse to me is glorifying the negative parts of being ill. It's the folks whose every TikTok feels like a cry for help that leaves you asking, what am I supposed to do with this?
She never really quits, she just say she did.
Was making this content actually helpful to me or you?
If I ever lose my battle to depression, know that I fought. Know that I tried.
It's like the lonification of mental illness. It's the romanticizing of illness and the romanticizing of staying ill. This all ties into the aesthetic of mental illness, which are words I can't believe I've actually just said. Mental illness has become aestheticized on TikTok. The reemergence of romanticizing eating disorders in particular is like a huge one here.
Sex, money, inside, sex, money, inside.
I love that song.
But if you want to learn more on that, I recommend checking out Salem's video on that, because she talks all about the rise of Tumblr culture on TikTok.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't want to admit that TikTok shares this resemblance with Tumblr, but the one thing that they definitely have in common is the amount of toxicity that they share. When it comes to Tumblr and TikTok sharing that toxicity, both strive off of mental illness, calorie counting, diet culture, body shaming, and people photoshopping their body.
There is a difference between normalizing illness and fetishizing trauma. Just as there is a difference between normalizing talking about mental illness on your platform and making your entire platform about mental illness in a way that's not helpful. And evidently that is bad, but before I get into it, let's get into the final category. I'm talking self-diagnosis TikTok, baby. There are two kinds of negatively influenced parties to these TikToks. People who don't know better and see this kind of stuff and think that it indicates they have the illness, and people who go into this kind of content wanting to reaffirm that they have the illness instead of actually going to a professional to get diagnosed. Since being mentally ill is now apparently a form of clout, some people want the label of the mental illness they so desire. I picture like frothing at the mouth. Tell me I have ADHD. It doesn't matter, you should not be doing that. Because to the people out there who are actually mentally ill, this is what being aware of that feels like. And many times these TikToks, no matter what their intentions are, aren't that great. Because if I was gonna diagnose myself according to these put a finger down TikToks, I would be very concerned. I would need to get myself checked into a psychiatric ward. Take this, for example.
Hi, this is the Put a Finger Down Female Autism Edition. When people are talking to you, do you stare intently and study their facial expressions and their body positioning? But when you're talking, you have to look away to process? Do you struggle with small talk, but you fluctuate in social settings between going on monologues about things that you're interested in and not engaging at all in the conversation? Do you tend to check out and get lost in your own head, even in public settings? Do you struggle to make friends or maintain friendships and commonly feel like an outsider who's just watching everybody else interact and you're not sure how to join in? Do you struggle to text people back or answer phone calls and sometimes take days or weeks, sometimes even months to actually get back to people? Do you have trouble making decisions when you're overstimulated or in a very stimulating environment that's overwhelming for you? Do you struggle to try new things, especially if there are people around you and people watching you? And lastly, do you experience shutdowns or meltdowns regularly? Maybe even sometimes on a daily basis.
I put a finger down for almost every one of these options. Now, do I have autism? No. But a person who's lacking information, and that's most times going to be a child or someone young on the platform, or a person who's just looking for confirmation bias, might be susceptible to taking things like this media to heart.
Put a finger down, I'll tell you what it is at the end. Put a finger down if you sometimes get so obsessed with the details of a project that you lose the main point. Put a finger down if you're so perfectionistic that you sometimes turn in assignments late or don't turn them in at all. Put a finger down if you work a lot and don't have much time for fun or relationship. Put a finger down if you feel very strongly about certain things being right or wrong. Put a finger down if you've ever been described as stubborn. Put a finger down if you have trouble delegating tasks to other people because they're just not going to do as good a job as you. Put a finger down if you're extremely self-critical. Put a finger down if even when you do take a break, you feel like you have to bring work along with you, otherwise you're wasting time. Put a finger down if you're really stingy with money or valued items. More than 5 fingers down is consistent with obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
In the same way that you might consume a TikTok about relatable things you do when you're mentally ill, but it's actually just relatable things many people do that don't actually have to do necessarily with the illness. Except that these TikToks are explicitly going out of their way to make known symptoms of mental illness. Mental illness is something that cannot be simplified down to a 40-second quiz game on TikTok. Sorry. The fact that we can just look at a 60-second video and be like, oh, and I must be fucking OCD. Go to a therapist. I'm not saying that the content in these TikToks is always inaccurate. Sometimes it is applicable. It's most oftentimes incredibly broad by making it seem like anyone and everyone could have that mental illness. It allows for us to make very broad and sometimes incorrect generalizations about mental illness. And since this content is now so widespread and so mainstream, broad and misinformed conceptions of mental illness have now become widespread. Now that we've touched base on the 3 red zones of mental illness TikTok, let's talk about why this is so fucked. Across these 3 realms, you get a big issue. Ain't no way I'm gonna remember this one. Sensationalizing mental illness to this extent breaches destigmatizing conversations about mental illness and creates a whole new and false stigma about the behaviors perpetuated by mentally ill people. Many people, as I've mentioned before, mainly the younger crowd, now rely on TikTok as their primary source for information. And not to sound like a judgy old person, but these apps are rotting your brain! Or rather, they can. I don't think every misdiagnosed kid or kid making mental illness content on this app is necessarily evil. Many just don't know better. And when you're raised by an app, as a young person, you're more likely to do what that app has shown time and time again to garner attention, which in this case, being mentally ill, does. Though for these many older people who surely know better, I think this is less about misinformation and more about numbers. Because I mean, this shit really racks in the views. I can see that, you can see that, and so can the people who maybe don't have the best intentions with their content. So our only 2 solutions when it comes to this problem are education, and for the people who are educated but are simply basking in what they know is the relevancy of having mental illness, therapy, I don't know, maybe a reassessment of your ethics.
Hello, me again. I'm sorry, I promise I will go away after this.
I accidentally deleted the closing remarks from this video because I'm a fucking idiot, but I wanted to make it known that I've seen across many videos people seeming to kind of just throw Gen Z under the bus. Like this is a problem that only has to do with younger people and is created by younger people. And I don't think that's the case. So while I do talk about younger people being susceptible to taking media like this to heart, know that I don't think that this is a problem that's exclusive to young people. Some of the people I included in this video were clearly not children. Many of the people on this app who I've seen feeding into these trends in whatever way it is are talking about mental health in a way that's not productive, and it's not always just younger people. So closing blanket point, I have seen many people make many types of content about mental health on this platform in a way that is either unhelpful or actively unproductive, or creates the possibility for negative interpretation, or creates the opportunity for misdiagnosis, or creates the opportunity for false stigmas to be created. And I don't think any content that does any of those things should be something that we are profiting off of. I think that getting views, likes, comments, and follows by centering your platform on mental health information in a way that could be dangerous is not something we should be doing, period, no matter who you are. Yeah, so, yeah. Please do leave me a like if you like this video. Feel free to share your thoughts with me below because I would love to hear them. And subscribe to see when I post my next video. It's not an Emma Lucille video if you don't get at least one burping. Bye.